Hello aviators, welcome to AlphaToSky. Here we are in another video for Chicago Convention. This video will be covering articles 17 to 28. The previous video covered articles 1 to 16. As you know, Chicago Convention is a very important part of the air regulations. It's very important for a pilot to understand the international civil aviation, and it's also very important from the DGCA exam standpoint. So let's get started. Talking about aircraft nationality, registration, and operations, we have categorized articles 17 to 21 into this category, which is aircraft nationality, registration, and operations. Article 17 talks about nationality of an aircraft. Country of registration of an aircraft is the nationality of that aircraft. So every civil aircraft must be registered within a country, and the country it is registered in becomes the nationality of the aircraft. So just like people have nationalities, aircrafts too carry the legal identity of the state of registry. Some countries allow foreign ownership but require the aircraft to still be registered domestically to operate legally. Article 18, dual registration. An aircraft cannot be registered in multiple countries at any given point of time. However, the registration can be changed from one country to another. This is to avoid confusion over legal responsibility, safety standards, and ownership. The registration can be transferred from one country to another, but the previous registration must be cancelled first. You may ask why. This is because registration decides which country's aviation laws, safety regulations, and airworthiness rules the aircraft must follow. Um, One of the example can be an aircraft sale. When an aircraft is sold to an airline in another country, the new owner has to deregister it from the old country and register it in under the new country. Article 19, National Laws Governing Registration. Registration and transfer of registration should happen according to the laws of that country where it is happening. So each country has its own laws and procedures for registering and transferring ownership of aircraft. The Civil Aviation Authority like DGCA in India, FAA in the US manages all aircraft registrations within their jurisdiction. Even though the Chicago Convention gives international guidelines, the specific process must follow national laws. Right? Countries may have different requirements such as proof of ownership, airworthiness certificates, and fees. So these requirements may differ from one country to another, and the registration and deregistration happening in their country should follow the processes from that country. When changing the country of registration, the aircraft must first be deregistered as per the original country's law before being registered in the new one. Article 20, display of marks, nationality and register marks should be displayed on aircrafts. So each aircraft has a unique registration code starting with a prefix that identifies its country. Example, so all the aircrafts in India are registered under the mark VT. So VT is the initial for the registration mark in India, and for US it is N. The registration marks on the aircraft change when the country changes. Article 21, report of registrations. So when a country is registering or deregistering an aircraft, it has to inform the ICAO with all the information so that the information is centralized and is available to other states, other countries when required. It helps in cases like air accidents, security concerns, or international operations where identifying an aircraft ownership is crucial. Knowing who owns and operates the aircraft helps in ensuring safe and lawful use of the airspace. So countries must keep their aircraft registry up to date and notify ICAO of any changes in registration or status. So here I have a picture of an aircraft, an Indian aircraft, with the registration mark and the nationality mark. You can see the Indian flag on the top here and the registration mark here. So as you can see, it starts with the prefix VT and then the specific airline and aircraft registration, right? Now, the remaining articles 22 to 28 in this series, we have categorized into a category named Facilitation of Air Navigation Services. These categories are just to help you remember these articles. So if you are fine remembering them without these categories, that is up to you. Article 22, Facilitation of Formalities. So countries that signed the Chicago Convention agree to make international air travel smoother and faster, right? And that is why they should facilitate air navigation services to aircrafts to prevent delays. Um, Basically, they should provide all the airport services, the air navigation services to the aircrafts to prevent any delays. The focus is on avoiding unnecessary delays for aircraft crew, passengers, and cargo during international flights. Countries should simplify airport processes, especially for immigration, customs, quarantine, and cargo clearance. Example could be automatic passport control kiosks, fast track lanes for crew, and pre-arrival cargo clearance are just practical implementation. So these implementations help in saving time for the international air travel. Article 23, Customs and Immigration Procedures. Countries should implement customs and immigration procedures for international travel. So countries should align their customs and immigration rules with international practices recommended by ICAO. The aim is to ensure similar procedures across countries, making it easier for international flights to operate smoothly. When countries follow common standards, it reduces confusion and increases efficiency for passengers and airlines. Article 24, Customs Duty. So no customs duty on incoming aircraft's fuel and any aircraft parts on board. There's a typo, but that should be aircraft parts on board, right? So this talks about the things that are carried by an aircraft, international aircraft, by a foreign aircraft to a country. So aircraft that are just passing through or temporarily landing in a country are not charged import duties on items like fuel, oil, spare parts, equipment, and aircraft stores already on board are also exempt from custom duties. So whatever things they are carrying on board for the operation of the aircraft are these things are not charged the custom duties. The country cannot charge custom duties from them. So this rule ensures that airlines don't face extra costs for operating internationally, and this makes global air travel smoother and more affordable. The aircraft and its supplies are also exempt from inspection fees or similar charges as long as they stay on board. And the exemption applies because the aircraft is only in the country temporarily and not being imported for permanent use. Since the aircraft is temporarily present in the country and it's not imported, so we cannot put the custom duties on the aircraft and its parts. Article 25, aircraft in distress. So every country that signed the Chicago Convention agrees to help aircraft in distress within its territory. Um, Distress means an aircraft might be in danger or it might have met with an accident. So every country that has signed the Chicago Convention should help these aircrafts with whatever possible measures they have. Right? This includes situations like engine failure, medical emergencies, bad weather, or communication loss. So countries are expected to help as much as reasonably possible based on their resources and infrastructure. But the goal is to protect lives and aircraft by offering timely support such as emergency landings or search or rescue. Article 26, investigation of accidents. So when an aircraft meets with an accident, it is the responsibility of the country where the accident happened to start an investigation into the accident and also provide the reports to the country of registration of that particular aircraft. Right? If a crash happens in a country's territory, that country is responsible for starting the investigation. And investigations are required if the accident causes death, serious injury, or shows signs of a serious technical fault in the aircraft or navigation system. And the investigating country must follow ICAO's recommended procedures as much as their law allows. The country where the aircraft is registered has the right to send observers to watch and monitor the investigation. And once the investigation is done, a report and findings must be shared with the state of registration of the aircraft. Next, we have Articles 27 and 28. Article 27 talks about exemption from seizure on patent claims. So an aircraft in flight cannot be seized for patent violations. Aircraft flying into or through another country cannot be seized due to a patent infringement claim. So let's say an aircraft is flying from country A to country B, and then there was another country C which claimed that there was a patent infringement issue with the aircraft or its parts. In that case, it has no rights to seize the aircraft in flight. Right? This protection is valid as long as the aircraft is legally entering or crossing a state's territory under the international rules. And the rule applies to parts, equipment, and operating systems of the aircraft that might be subject to patent claims. So any parts of the aircraft that is coming under the patent is subject to this patent claims. Right? It is protected under this rule. This article ensures that international flights are not disrupted by legal disputes over intellectual property. Right? You can imagine an Airbus A320 from France is flying to India on a scheduled international route, and then a company in India claims that a navigation system used in that aircraft violates its patent, and it wants to seize the aircraft. So without Article 27, the company could try to get a court order to seize the aircraft when it lands in India. But because of this Article 27, they will not be able to do that. So they cannot seize or detain the aircraft just because of this patent claim. The flight is protected under the international law, allowing it to depart safely and continue operations. Article 28, air navigation facilities and standard systems. So each participating country, those countries which are participating in this convention, which agreed to this convention, should provide airports, navigation, met facilities, radio, maps, etc. to the aircrafts. So irrespective of the country of registration of any aircraft, every country should provide all these facilities to all the aircrafts in their airspace. That was it for this video. We covered quite a few articles. We'll be covering more in upcoming videos. If you have any suggestions for me, do feel free to drop them in the comments. Do like and share this video, and see you in the next one. Thank you.